Yeah.
Everybody know where
Yeah,
that
the
is?
DACA office.
That's DACA office, yeah.
So that's where we're going to start our meeting today. So let's zoom out. So I'm going to zoom out. So let's zoom out. Hold on. Okay, well, I'm not zooming up too good, am I? Hold on. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out of DC, and then we're going to jump on a plane, and we're going to head to Europe. So keep in mind that our theme for this month is Europe, and we're going from Washington. We're going to go from Dulles Airport, which is like right over here. We're going to go from Dulles Airport. We're going to jump on our plane, and we're going to take off way up in the sky, and we're going to cross this ocean right here, and we're going to keep going, keep going, keep going. Right now, we're hoping the plane doesn't break down. We're going here. We're across this long ocean, still going, still going. Oh my gosh, plane's off course. Got to go up here. There's Spain. Now cross over the Mediterranean Sea. And then everybody remembers last time, right? Last time we landed in Venice and we drove down the coast of Croatia. Remember that? To Dubrovnik. And then we went back and we saw the beautiful Plitvice Lakes and we saw some of the beautiful cities. So now we ended our trip last time. We crossed the border from Slovenia into Italy. So now we're going to pick up our trip in Italy. So let's jump over and get a little bit, like always, let's see if we can get a little bit of history on what Italy is all about. So let's start with some history. Everybody hear
Italy
that?
is a boot-shaped country located
Yeah,
in the
you
middle
can
of the
tell, Lou.
Mediterranean Sea, spanning a large area of 301,338 square kilometers. With Rome as its capital, Italy mainly consists of a peninsula that extends from the southern Alps to the central Mediterranean Sea. Early history. From the 9th century BC to the 6th century AD, Italy was home to various ancient tribes. The Sicily and Sardinia regions in insular Italy were made colonies by Phoenicians, the first foreign colonizers. Greek colonies were established in the so-called Magna Graecia of southern Italy. The northern and central parts of Italy were inhabited respectively by Celts and Etruscans. In 753 BC, the Roman kingdom was formed with the foundation of Rome City. Over the next 100 years, the Roman kingdom was ruled by 7 Etruscan kings. In 509 BC, the last king was overthrown by the Romans, establishing the Roman Republic with a government of the Senate and the people, SPQR. The next centuries witnessed the Roman expansion in Italy and conquest of Western Europe, Northern Africa, and the Middle East. After the assassination of the Roman dictator Julius Caesar, the Roman Republic collapsed, leading to the rise of the Roman Empire in 27 BC. Under Augustus Caesar as the first Roman emperor, the empire largely expanded with Italy as its metropole. By the 2nd century AD, the empire reached its height under Trajan. Since the 3rd century AD, the empire has been in a steady decline. In 395 AD, it split in two, the Western Empire and the Eastern Empire, or the Byzantine Empire. In 476 AD, the Western Roman Empire collapsed after its last emperor, Romulus Augustulus, was deposed by the German barbarian chief Odoacer. Odoacer then established the Kingdom of Italy with the capital of Ravenna, declaring himself its first king. Italian Renaissance and Unification. By the late Middle Ages, Italy was divided into small independent kingdoms and feuding city-states which paved the way for the Renaissance in Italy. The Renaissance began in the city of Florence, Tuscany, in central Italy, and spread across Europe. During the Renaissance, Italy gained notable achievements in painting, architecture, sculpture, literature, music, philosophy, science, technology, and exploration. By the end of the 15th century, Italy and its city-states suffered from foreign domination, characterized by the Italian Wars, which ended with the Peace of Catu Cambresis. After the treaties, Much of the Italian territories were controlled by the House of Habsburg until Napoleon Bonaparte's invasion of Italy in 1796. During the Napoleonic era, Italy was invaded by France, and the Napoleonic Kingdom of Italy was formed. The Congress of Vienna brought the situation back to that of 1795. In 1861, Italy gained almost entire unification, forming the Kingdom of Italy. Liberal Italy. In 1866, Italy, in alliance with Prussia, invaded Austria and annexed Veneto. 4 years after that, Italy took over Rome and the Papal States, completing Italian unification. The capital was moved from Florence to Rome. Italy joined the Triple Alliance with Germany and Austria. In 1915, after signing the Treaty of London, Italy joined the Allied powers in World War I against the Central Powers. Despite gaining territory, Italy did not receive other territories promised in the London Pact, leaving this as a mutilated victory. In the next few years, Italy's economic crisis and social turmoil paved the way for the rise of the Italian fascist dictatorship in 1922. Fascist Italy. Following the March on Rome, Benito Mussolini and his fascist party rose to power with the desire to restore and expand the Italian territories. In 1935, Italy invaded Ethiopia and founded Italian East Africa. 4 years later, Italy formed annexed Albania. The following year, Italy entered World War II on the Axis side and against the Allies. In July 1943, following the Allied invasion of Sicily, Mussolini was deposed and arrested. Later that year, the Armistice of Cassville was signed, resulting in Italy joining the Allies. Soon after that, Germany occupied northern and central Italy, freed Mussolini, and set up a puppet state called the Italian Social Republic. The following years witnessed the fighting of the Italian resistance against the Nazi German occupiers and Italian fascist forces. In late April of 1945, Mussolini was captured and executed. The following month, the German forces in Italy surrendered, and 1 week later marked the unconditional surrender of Nazi Germany and the end of World War II in Europe. Italian Republic. In 1946, following a referendum, the monarchy was abolished and Italy became a republic. From 1958 to 1963, Italy enjoyed a period of economic growth called the Economic Miracle.
Yeah, I'll sort of stop it there because I think the modern history is not as interesting as the older history. Any thoughts about what we just witnessed here? I learned a lot just watching that. A lot of material there.
You can just unmute yourself if you want to respond.
It's interesting. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I thought you were asking for a statement.
Yes, I am. Yes, please.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was just I was just thinking that a lot of this stuff happened before most of us were born, or we were little.
That's true.
Yeah, the war ended before. I remember my uncle being in World War II and fighting over there in that war, and the interesting stories they told. They said Mussolini was a real piece of work.
Was he really? Oh my gosh!
They said he was a mean sucker.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
Did he fight in Italy? Is that where he fought?
Yes.
He was in Italy for a while. I don't know where else he went, but I know he was in Italy. And the soldiers said that he was real prejudiced against the dark soldiers, and he would order them to be shot.
Oh my gosh! Wow. You mean the Italian soldiers or like American prisoners?
American black soldiers and
oh my gosh!
Yeah, and dark people that were working for some of those people. They said he was a real pistol. People that they never said how mean he was, and the government told them when they came back not to talk about too much of it, but he would talk to the boys and I'd be listening because I'm interested in history. So, but he was something else.
That's not a well-known fact.
I know it's
And
not.
It
It's
is.
not.
Yes, it is.
is it well? Oh my God, it's horrible.
It depends on who you're talking with. Yeah.
Yeah, it all depends on who you're talking with and who talks to other people.
Oh my
But-
gosh, I didn't know that. That's
Yeah, yeah.
terrible.
Yeah, he was a real and he raped a lot of the Jewish women, and
Right.
he mutilated their bodies, cut off their breasts, and cut them in places that shouldn't be cut, and he was a terrible person.
My gosh. Well, thanks for sharing that. That's does anybody else have family members that fought in the war, especially in Italy, but really anywhere in World War II? Anybody on this call, maybe?
Yeah, my Uncle Willie.
Okay.
My Uncle Willie was in World War II, and I used to escort him around at the VA when I was working a work therapy program up there as an escort. So yeah, he was in. It was my father's mother brother,
Okay.
my Uncle Willie.
Where did your Uncle Willie fight? Do you know?
I'm not sure where he fought, but I know he was in World War II.
Okay.
Like I said, I used to see him and visit him a lot. He used to live around near Bonnie Circle, over near the Salsa Bridge. And like I say, he was a veteran. I used to see him at the VA hospital. So I encountered a time with him. He used to come over and visit over the house.
I'm cold.
I never really talked to him about his military positions or where he was, though.
Yeah, it seems like that generation, sometimes they didn't talk about it much. The World War II vets I knew rarely talked about it.
They didn't in the Korea War either. That was a terrible war too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had an uncle in there, my father's brother. He was a sergeant.
Okay.
And when he got back home, because he was in a conflict of fighting and all, he turned to an alcoholic.
Yep.
Yes.
Ms. Brenda, your hand is raised. Would you like to share something? And let's make sure our TVs and cell phones are turned off, please. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. How are you? My father was in World War II, and he went to Germany,
Mhm.
and he talked about his slum, but I didn't know they were in Italy. And especially what that film showed me was like the depression. The depression was in 94, 95. And he talked about a lot about the depression, and my mother did. My mother was in World War II too. She was in the WACs. But I don't think
Okay.
she went overseas.
Okay.
I don't know where she was staying. I know she was in New York. But I don't know where else.
Well, thanks, Brenda, for sharing. And anybody else have memories? Do we have any seniors who actually fought in that war? Because we do have some,
Yeah.
quite elderly seniors in our group. No. All right. Well, I'll keep going, and feel free to interrupt me. Okay, this program's all for you all. So I'm gonna sort of end this one, and let's see if I can go back. All right. There we go. So on our trip today, we're going to start out in Venice, and we're going to drive down the spine of Italy. We're going to go to Siena. Anybody ever hear of Siena? It's not Siena, I'm sorry, Assisi. Anybody hear of St. Francis of Assisi?
Yes.
So after Rome, the Roman Empire fell, all this, built up, well-populated area that was formerly all Roman territory, it all became these little small feudal states, these walled cities, and there's all throughout Italy, there's these medieval walled cities. It's like something out of a Harry Potter movie. In every single city, I mean, there's literally probably thousands of these walled cities here, because to defend themselves, because Rome was gone, there was no master power anymore. All the cities had to build walls and just defend themselves during all the medieval times. So you'll see one of those cities, Assisi. Then we'll drive across to Rome, which of course was the seat of the Roman Empire. And then we'll dip down and see the Amalfi Coast, which is sort of a rich jet city kind of area. And then we're going to zip back up. We're going to skip Florence. And then we're going to stop at my favorite place, which is up in here. It's called Cinque Terre, which is a national park that I just absolutely love. So let's get our trip going. So just a moment here. All righty. And then back to my son again. So we saw the Italy here. Let's learn a little bit about Venice.
Venice, the city of the canals. Today, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The floating city is made up of a collection of over 100 islands and pieces of reclaimed land, and is linked up by a series of bridges and canals.
One of the most unique cities in Italy, Venice is composed of more than 100.
Venice, the city of the canals. Today, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The floating city is made up of a collection of over 100 islands and pieces of reclaimed land, and is linked up by a series of bridges and canals which weave their way through the city streets. Once one of the heavyweight maritime superpowers of the Middle Ages, the formerly independent city-state dominated the eastern shore of the Adriatic Sea from its strategically situated position upon an enclosed marshy lagoon between the Po and the Piave rivers on the northeastern coastline of the Italian peninsula. The area which Venice now resides was long home to an ancient Celtic people called the Veneti. Although no concrete records remain, the city itself is likely to have been founded by Roman citizens fleeing from the surrounding urban areas, from invading waves of Germanic and Hunnic tribes during the twilight of the empire in the 5th century AD. The lagoon remained a safe haven for refugees during the turbulent times over the coming centuries.
So I want to stop this here because it's really remarkable history. You heard them say that Venice became a superpower during the Middle Ages. They called it city-states. That's where these cities were actually the countries. They were walled off. And what's really interesting about Venice, and it's not well known, is that when Rome fell, Rome had a tragic end. It was the first major empire in the history of the world. And when it collapsed, a lot of the top people from Rome escaped and they moved to Venice. And so if you read about the laws and the background of Venice, Venice is almost a continuation of Rome. It was the same governing structure, the same, types of laws, the same population. And they just built this empire that became a city-state that was really, really remarkable. And so I'm going to skip the rest of the history. So and Venice remained a superpower all the way up until the early 1800s. So in a way, Rome really didn't fall until the early 1800s, when Napoleon finally conquered Venice. And that's really a remarkable fact that really Rome lasted that long. So let's see what Venice looks like. To me, this is one of the most remarkable places in the whole world, because how in the world can you build a city in this place? It's in the middle of the ocean, and they built it in a swamp, and they just hammered trees into the mud, and then they built on top of the tops of the stumps, and they built an entire city doing that. And for some reason, the salt water doesn't allow these stumps to rot. And so here, let's see what it looks like. Here we go.
Hey, Luke, can I just add one thought, please?
One of the most.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add a thought from my perspective. Rome was one of the largest empires in Western civilization. And there are other empires that were much larger than Rome, including Genghis Khan.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
But in the West, we only know about the Western civilization empires. I just wanted to make that point, that's all.
Thanks for sharing that. That's so true.
And I would Have you actually been in Venice?
Yeah, I was there a couple
Okay.
times. But-
Is there any land that people walk around on, or is all their business taken care of on boats?
Well, this is a really good picture of Venice right here. And they have the main canal. There's a couple of main wide canals. It's like a freeway, you know, and most of the goods are transported by boat. It's not transported by road, but you still have dry ground where there's houses. So imagine a city where the roads are canals and the big canals are the superhighways and the small canals are the smaller roads. And then the dry land, you know, all this is dry land. All these here are canals going in. These are canals. These aren't roads. These are canals going back. And you see like the UPS driver or the Amazon driver, they're in boats, you know, delivering stuff.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So let me continue.
Unique cities in Italy, Venice is composed of more than 100 tiny islets, packed closely together around canals. The city is in a lagoon, protected from the sea by a long strip of land called the Lido. Venice is a city of immense beauty and historical significance that is filled with Renaissance and Gothic architecture, world-class museums, and over 100 churches. Today, Venice remains an important economic center and is one of the most popular cities for tourism in the world. Before we get into the top 10 things to do in Venice, we've included links in the description to various discount codes and links to resources of things to do, so make sure you check those out. At number 10 is a classic gondola ride. For centuries, Venetians have used the gondola as their main mode of transportation, and in a city with no roads, boats rule supreme. Taking a ride on a gondola is one of the best ways to see Venice, and visitors can glide through a maze of waterways, journey under beautiful bridges before joining the Grand Canal. Number 9 is St. Mark's Basilica. Easily the most renowned and famous building in Venice, St. Mark's Basilica is an outstanding piece of architecture that has stood the test of time since its creation in 1092 and remains one of the most important religious buildings in northern Italy. Located in the Piazza San Marco, every aspect of this church is fantastic, from the ornate detail, sculptures and artwork on the front facade, to the beautifully painted frescoes and Byzantine works of art on the inside of the domed ceiling. At number 8.
I wanted to stop there. Do you remember in the last video they said that the Roman Empire was split into two halves, the Western Roman Empire and the Eastern Roman Empire, which was they also called it Byzantine or Byzantium. Do you remember that?
Right.
Well, but what's interesting is that the first army to sack the Byzantine capital to basically bring down the Eastern Roman Empire were the Venetians. And a lot of the treasures from the Byzantine Empire, and this is going way back, like 1092, I think it goes way back, 1,000 years, are in that St. Mark's Church. Some of the most amazing treasures, you know, in the Western world are in that church, and that church is 1,000 years old. Okay.
8 is the Rialto Bridge. The picturesque Rialto Bridge has been the main bridge crossing Venice's Grand Canal since 1591. The bridge's covered arches hold shops at the famous Rialto Market, a lively food market with lots of stalls that have been in operation for centuries. Connecting the San Marco and San Polo districts of Venice, the bridge is an important pedestrian thoroughfare, but also a hugely popular tourist attraction. Number 7 is Doge's Palace. This ornate palace is simply stunning, and its front facade features a beautiful arch design.
And I'm going to sort of stop it there because we're moving along. Any other thoughts about Venice from anybody? This is from the trip that we took there 4 years ago.
So there's no cause or anything. So what about if they have to go, to a hospital, or they have to travel by boat?
Sorry, what was that?
I say, so if they have to go to the hospital or doctor's appointment, they have to travel by boat?
Yeah, they have ambulance boats. It's a really very functional city. This city is hundreds, maybe 1,000 years old. So it's very functional. And one thing I'll share, unlike a lot of the other Italian cities, you know, they've become tourist towns, like pretty much the whole town is tourism. Venice is still a living city because it's so big. So you got
Yeah.
people who are, you know, telecommuting to work and they work there and they, you know, it's like a functioning city. It's really very special.
Okay.
All right, well, I'm gonna continue on. So here's a couple of pictures. That's me and my wife there. That's St. Mark's Cathedral right there. That's a 1,000-year-old cathedral. That's my son. You can't go to Italy without snapping up one of these guys. Yeah, that was a nice cheesy pizza.
That looks delicious.
Guess how much it costs?
A lot of money.
$5. $5.
What?
I was just about to say $3, Lou. Those is really inexpensive.
Yeah.
$5.
Wow, Lord. Shoot, you can't get a slice of pizza for $5 almost.
Well, that's one thing. Like, if you can get to Croatia, is even cheaper than Italy. If you could get there, you know, your cost of living there is way, way lower than it is here. You just got to get there. That's the problem, because the plane fare is expensive.
Wow.
Yeah. So you saw that. Oh, here's one of the street vendors. Check this out. He's playing crystal goblets. So you have these guys all over in the streets, very talented. Okay, I think we may be leaving now to another city. Let's see what the next one is.
A visit to Assisi shows that Francis.
Okay, so yeah, this is going to Assisi. So you remember I said that when after Rome fell, the cities all had to defend themselves. You know, it was like every person for themselves. And so they built these walled cities, and they called them city-states. And Assisi was one of the city-states. And it's really famous now, especially because of one very, very famous Catholic saint, St. Francis of Assisi. Do we have any Catholics on the call here who knows about him? Because I don't know all that much about St. Francis of Assisi.
Yes, Mr. Lou. Yes, I'm was born Catholic. This is Shirley Bagley. Yes, St.
Hey,
Francis
Shirley.
of Assisi. He's a patron saint. I'm not too familiar with too much more history about him, but that name is familiar.
Okay.
St. Francis of Assisi.
Well, thank you for sharing. Okay. Anybody else know anything about St. Francis of Assisi? Well, maybe that'll be a side topic one of these days. So let's see what the video has to say. So I wanted to show Assisi because this is really, you know, pretty much how the rest of Italy is like. You know, once you leave the big cities, pretty much all of Italy is like this. You know, you got these farmlands separated by the hills. The cities are on the hills because they were defensive positions. So they built these old medieval cities. You know, these cities all date back to, like, you know, 500 AD. They're like 1,500 years old. All the buildings, the roofs, it's really quite remarkable. And a lot of them have these towers. Anybody know why they have these towers?
Lookout.
Lookout, yeah,
Message of
exactly.
Universal love has a
Exactly.
broad and timeless appeal. In fact, Assisi routinely hosts interfaith gatherings. And even non-religious travelers become pilgrims of a sort as they explore the town and remember Francis. Any pilgrimage site will be commercialized, and Assisi, which enthusiastically cashes in on the legacy of St. Francis, is no exception. The town overflows with Francis fans and a flood of Franciscan knickknacks. But most visitors are day trippers, so to enjoy Assisi at its peaceful best, see it early or see it late. While the town center may be congested, just a few steps away, you'll find pockets of serenity. As you explore, gaze up. Balconies are tiny gardens. Medieval Assisi was densely populated, with several times the population of the town today packed within its protective walls. The town's main square is an inviting place to relax. As in many European old town centers, it's pedestrian-friendly and almost traffic-free. Assisi has been a spiritual center since pre-Christian times. The ancient Romans went to great lengths to make this 1st century BC Temple of Minerva, with its stately Corinthian columns, a centerpiece of their city. A Christian church was built into the ruined pagan temple in the 9th century, and its fine 13th century bell tower soars above the crowds of the main square. But it seems most visitors are here for the story of St. Francis.
Francis was a big deal even in his own age. In fact, he was made a saint within a few years of his death. Immediately, pilgrims came from far and wide, making Assisi a thriving pilgrimage center, which it is to this day.
Great. Any thoughts about Assisi, anybody?
Assisi was known by some, I don't particularly like to say this, but he's known by some as the other Christ, because he he was known as a person who embraced love, truly love, and embraced all people, all animals, et cetera, kind of thing. So some consider him as the other Christ. He didn't have all those, he was supposedly very faithful to what he believed in, that Christ was about. But that's somewhat why he's famous, Lou. He was not a well-educated man. He was not very tall, but he was loved by all of them during those days, particularly.
Because he preached the Lord. Yeah, he preached the Lord. And he was like a shepherd, like like the apostles were preaching God's word. And he was very well thought of, very well thought of.
Put his faith into action is what he did.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Faith in action.
Well, thank you all for sharing that. That's a beautiful background.
What part of Europe is this?
Right now we're in Assisi. I can show you where it is. You all want to see it on the map?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go over there. So here, so we were in Venice right here, and we drove down the coast. And I'm going to zoom in, and I got to find it. It's somewhere. So here's Rome. It's like somewhere up in here, Perugia. It's like right. Oh, here it is, right here. See it? Right here.
Yeah, what is that, around Italy somewhere?
Oh yeah.
It is Italy. We've been talking about Italy this whole time.
Oh yeah, I've been to Madrid. Yeah, when I was in the Persian Gulf War, I went through there.
Oh really?
Yeah, I've been to Madrid, and I've been to Sicily.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Who's that
I'm
talking?
a veteran, a Persian Gulf War veteran.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
How did you end up in Sicily? How'd that happen?
I had to make stops up through them areas, and the Red Cross was taking, were helping us out every time we landed in these countries and in these places. I was in what's that? Germany also. I was down around Frankfurt, Germany. So like these places that I was at, the Red Cross supported us the whole way. After that long flight overseas, I got to be in these places, and I seen the way. That's why I was looking at the way the buildings and everything was, and I said, "Wow, that look so much like them areas over there in Italy."
Yeah,
a lot of it looked just, that's what I was so looking at it so much for as you were talking about it. But yeah, I was over them areas. and we had stopped through them areas and spent time there before we had moved on to Saudi Arabia and Iraq. But yeah, that was around 90, 91 when I was over there. The Desert Shield, Desert Storm era.
Right.
The Persian Gulf War.
Wow, maybe you could do a story about that sometime.
Yeah, well, I was in transportation. I was a truck driver. I transported troop and cargo. That was my job, transporting them up at the front line, bringing them back in, rotating them for R&R. I mean, I shoot, in less than 3 months, I had over 10,000 miles on my truck.
Well, I don't have to be the only one doing these presentations. I would love it if other folks want to jump in and do one. Would you consider doing something like this? About your tour in Iraq?
I have a lot on my plate because I'm in the program at UDC. I just got finished doing 2 days up there. I'm just getting back here on the day after going up UDC all day yesterday and day before yesterday. So like I said, I've been in that program 12 years. So I pretty got a lot on my plate, when I'm because I have more than just one virtual meeting to deal with.
Oh, no problem. I'm just putting it out there. Well, thank you for sharing.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, Lou, we have about about 15 minutes until you said
I better go high speed here. Okay, here we go, high speed. Okay, so let's learn about Rome now. We're gonna go to Rome.
In this video, we'll show you the 10 best things to do in Rome. The suggestions are based on our countless trips to this historic city. This video is sponsored by Beyond, the maker of popular compression packing cubes, a revolutionary new way to organize your luggage and save space. The link is in the description. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and enable notifications. And share your own experience in the comments below. Stick around until the end of this video because we have a bonus attraction that might surprise you. Here are our top 10 picks. Number 10. Roman Forum and Palatine Hill. The Roman Forum developed gradually over many centuries from what was a swampy lake collecting water from the surrounding hills. The Forum was the center of public life in ancient Rome. Located next to the Colosseum, surrounded by government facilities and other important buildings, it was the venue of major public events such as elections, criminal trials, processions, or public speeches. We all probably heard about the legend that says Rome was founded by Romulus, who killed his twin brother Remus after the two of them have been raised by a she-wolf. Romulus is supposed to be buried under the Roman Forum. After the fall of the empire, the Forum was neglected. It was used as a meadow for livestock and got the nickname Campo Vaccino, meaning cow field. The site was first excavated in the 18th century and is now an enormous open-air museum featuring relatively well-preserved ruins of old buildings. If you don't have the time to visit the area, you can see a big part of the Forum from the public street above. Don't skip Foro di Traiano and other interesting buildings just across the street. Located above Roman Forum, you will find Palatine Hill, one of the 7 hills of ancient Rome. The settlements on Palatine Hill date back as far as 10th century BC. Today you can visit an impressive collection of archaeological sites from different eras of ancient Rome. According to a legend, the she-wolf that took care of Romulus and Remus lived here. Don't skip impressive views of the entire Roman Forum from the terrace on the Palatine Hill. Number 9. Colosseum. Located right next to the Roman Forum, you will find Colosseum, the largest amphitheater ever built. Construction of this remarkable structure was completed in the year 80 and was made using stone and concrete to demonstrate Roman building techniques to the entire world. The amphitheater was a gift to the people of Rome by the Flavian dynasty to gain their popularity. In fact, for that reason, the emperors organized significant events in the Colosseum, and they were free to attend, and sometimes even free food for the visitors was provided. Colosseum was used for gladiatorial combats, animal hunts, executions, reenactments of famous battles as a stage for theatrical performances and other public spectacles. While the structure still stands, earthquake damaged it over the years. Number 8. Altare della Patria. Altar of the Fatherland, or Altare della Patria in Italian, is a large monument built on the top of the Capitoline Hill. The monument was built in honor of the first king of Unified
Let's
Park,
skip ahead here.
comprising several out of the park, offers one of the best for that. Number 6. Piazza Navona and the underground ruins of Circus Agonalis. Piazza Navona is a Baroque square from the late 15th century featuring several Trevi fountain and underground labyrinths. Stretching 86 feet or 26 meters in the air, Trevi Fountain is one of the most famous fountains in the world. The fountain was built on the facade of a palace in 1751. The water from the fountain was delivered from Aqua Vergine, one of Rome's aqueducts, and was considered the purest water you can drink in Rome. The legend says that whoever throws a coin in it will return to Rome. By the way, nearly 700,000 euros worth of coins are tossed into Trevi Fountain each year. Don't skip the remains of the Roman house and aqueduct. Vicus Caprarius, located just around the corner from the Trevi Fountain, is a system of underground labyrinths from the Roman times, offering an insight into ancient Roman life, engineering, and ingenuity. It was a part of the complex Virgin Aqueduct that supplied potable water to the city, including Trevi Fountain. Number 4. Spanish Steps. Ana de la Barcacha, dating
skip
back
ahead here.
impressive concrete
This
is in the description. Number 3.
This is my favorite one.
Pantheon. Pantheon is a former Roman temple constructed in the 2nd century AD by the Roman Emperor Hadrian. In 1609, Pantheon was given to the Pope and was converted into a church. Pantheon is the best preserved ancient Roman monument. Its impressive concrete dome features an oculus in the center, which serves as the primary source of natural light. Since there is no glass covering the oculus, when it rains, the floor gets wet. Still, because of an ingenious system of 22 well-hidden holes, the water quickly drains away. Number 2. Baths of Caracalla. Bathing was a part of the underground
Let's get
use
ahead.
like this. An area of 110 acres or 44 hectares, and with only about 1,000 inhabitants, Vatican City is the smallest state in the world by both area and population. The official name is Vatican City State, but it has been the Pope's residence since the year 1377. While the central area is closed to the public, there are many attractions to see, for example St. Peter's Square and Basilica, which are impressive examples of Renaissance architecture. Visit the Vatican museums, displaying a collection of 20,000 works of art. Don't skip Sistine Chapel and one of the most famous frescoes in the world, the Creation of Adam, painted in the 16th century by Michelangelo. And here is the bonus that we promised. Did you know that Rome
All right, clearly there's a lot to see in Rome. I had to skip through it. And any thoughts about Rome? Anybody?
I went to Rome in 2001.
Just admitted they're being shot this time.
Nice. Did you like it?
Other
I loved it.
You got a favorite spot there?
We went all over. We went to Sicily, Madrid. I visited the Vatican. I really love that.
Nice. Anybody else go there? Well, there's definitely a lot to see, and I'm gonna have to move quick because I'm almost out of time. We got a couple more to go through. So now we're gonna go to the south. We're gonna pass Pompeii, and everybody know about the volcanic eruption that buried Pompeii. We're gonna skip that because we just don't have time. And we're going to go to this area of the rich and famous, so to speak. It's called the Amalfi Coast. I'll show you a quick thing on this. I never went there, but I heard it's gorgeous. Have a look.
The Amalfi Coast stretches for 30 miles along the southern coast of the Sorrentine Peninsula in southern Italy. Like a beautiful necklace, this spectacular coastline sparkles with hillside vineyards, fragrant groves, and a grand sweeping history. There are some places that are so famous and so legendary that even before you've set foot there, it feels familiar. The Amalfi Coast, with its road of 1,000 bends, is one such place. The Amalfi Coast has attracted societies rich and beautiful for thousands of years and inspired some of the world's greatest artists and writers. The area's largest city, Amalfi, is a great place to begin this legendary journey. This town was wealthy and powerful during medieval times, and merchants here had gold coins to spend, instead of the barter system used throughout the rest of Italy. Visit the magnificent buildings that reflected early wealth, such as the Santa Maria Maggiore, and take the short trip to the picturesque hillside village of Pontone, where Amalfi's elite used to escape the crowds. Even though the fishing village of Atrani is only just over the hill, it maintains its own traditions and even a local dialect. Atrani is the smallest municipality in southern Italy, and its medieval streets and alleys feel untouched by the hands of time. The nearby villages of Praiano and Furore have many beautiful beaches, including Fiordo di Furore, an ancient gorge that was used for many centuries as a hideout for bandits. A little further along is the site of one of the greatest legends of all time. Just off the coast from Positano is where, according to Greek mythology, Ulysses resisted the mythical call of the sirens. Positano is perhaps the best-known destination on the coast. A favorite of celebrities since the 1950s, this town glitters with old-world glamour. From Marina Grande Beach, most of the paths lead right to the town center.
So I think you all get the idea. Beautiful place. I've never been there. Love to go. It's only like a half-day bus ride from, or even train ride from Rome. And I heard that you don't want to drive a car there because the roads are so congested. So if you go, you get the recommendation is to rent a moped because you can pass all the backed up cars. That sounded pretty interesting. All right, any questions or thoughts about the Amalfi Coast, anybody?
Oh, Mr. Lou, I just want to know, isn't it low crime rate over there?
You can handle the thing.
You know, I mean, you know, I never had a problem. You know what, it was funny, when I was, my first time I was in Rome, this is a funny story. I was a kid, right? And I was hitchhiking. I ran out of money. You know, what do you do when you're, you know, that's what you do when you're a kid. And I ran out of money, and I was living, I had a sleeping bag, and I was living in a park behind the Colosseum. I was 18 years old. And, you know, that's not the safest place in the world, in a park behind the Colosseum. And I was living, you know, behind a bush. And I remember, this is sort of a gross story. I remember in the middle of the night, someone peed on my sleeping bag because they didn't know I was in the bush in my sleeping bag. And so, yeah, so my story about that is that I never encountered any kind of crime, even though I was not in a very safe area and, you know, pretty much living on the streets. So maybe you're right. Maybe the crime is pretty low.
It is beautiful over there. All of those countries are beautiful.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, we got like a couple minutes. I wanted to end with this is the, you know, I was checking with my wife. This is probably the place where I had the best time of my whole life. And it was a place called Cinque Terre in the northern part of Italy. And what was unique about it is I was with my family and kids, and while we were there, I was saying, this is probably the best time I've ever had in my whole life. And it was in this town right here. I'm going to show it to you right here. It's a very famous place.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Ciao a tutti! In this video I'm sharing everything you need to know before you visit the Cinque Terre in northern Italy. What to see, do and how to get around. The smallest and oldest national park in Italy, Cinque Terre, is a stretch of Italian Riviera coastline made up of 5 villages. The UNESCO World Heritage Site isn't a place full of tourist attractions, but one cherished for its natural beauty and charm. Cinque Terre, famous for its colorful coastal village clusters and breathtaking paths along the cliffs, inhabits only about 7,000 people. The 5 villages from north to south are Monterosso al Mare, Vernazza, Corniglia, Manarola and Riomaggiore. The villages are close together. Trains and boats connect them. The Cinque Terre Express runs frequently between La Spezia and Levanto and stops at each village. It only takes about 5 minutes from one village to the next. Tickets cost €5 for a single journey from one village to the other. The Cinque Terre train card is recommended for unlimited travel between Levanto and La Spezia and also includes hikes. The card costs about €18 for a day, 33 for 2 and €47 for 3 days. To explore all the 5 villages thoroughly, spend at least 2 to 3 days here. If you're short on time, Vernazza and Riomaggiore are the most photo-worthy. All the 5 villages have their own personality and defining features. Let's take a closer look. Monterosso al Mare. The largest village, Monterosso, is known for its lemon trees
I'll
and
skip forward here. And this is Vernazza. They have a tunnel, a natural tunnel that goes under there. You swim in the beach over here. Me and my kids, we swim around this point. It's just absolutely incredible. And, it's all free. So let me continue on.
Corniglia. Corniglia is the most quiet and
our favorite place was Manarola, right here.
About 3 minutes to walk down from the train station. In Manarola, you'll once again be captivated by
So I'll show you Manarola.
Manarola.
This is our favorite
Manarola
one.
has no traditional beach, but there's a beautiful harbor surrounded by cliffs.
I asked my daughter, I said, what was the best experience you ever had in your life? Shortly after before she got married. She said, swimming with me right here in Manarola. It was just magical.
To jump from. It's a popular place on hot days and only takes about 3 minutes to walk down from the train station. In Manarola, you'll once again be captivated by the picturesque multicolored houses facing the sea. My friend and I walked from Riomaggiore to Manarola.
All right, well, anyway, I should end right there because I have to put some money in the meter. But we can't have a program without having a trivia contest. So let's see if we can go through there real quick.
Hey Lou, did you were you able to send the ones from 2 weeks ago?
Well, yeah, I think I just saw your email from me like a couple of days ago, and I did not send those out yet.
Okay,
but I will.
Okay, great.
And we had one person, I'm forgetting who was it that I had to re-mail the envelope to because it got returned.
Oh, Brent, she received it. She got it.
Yeah. Who was that again?
It was me,
Brenda.
Lou, Brenda, but I want another one. So
Yeah, the one from
I'll just
2 weeks
wait.
ago.
Okay.
All right. Well, here, let's go through this here because I'm gonna have to go put some money in my meter. Okay, so Italy trivia. First question. First one to answer in the chat box or yell it out.
Make sure to read it, Lou.
Okay, what is the mountain range that forms the northern border of Italy?
Alps.
Okay. I think Ron, I think you were the first on
No,
that.
I think Mr. Harold said it first.
Well, give it to Ron.
Okay. Ronald Thompson, I see that. Thank you.
Ronald, bracelet
First.
or necklace?
Necklace, please.
All right.
Necklace.
Thank you so much for participating, Mr. Ronald.
Can I
Thanks,
ask a
Ronald.
quick question though?
Yeah.
Lou, you piqued my curiosity. What in the devil were you doing living in a sleeping bag behind the Roman Coliseum at age 18?
Yeah.
That must be
All
a
right,
long
so-
story.
All right. Well, no, I'll tell it to you. So, you know, I grew up in Detroit, and you know, my friends weren't the best. So we scrapped some money together, and we took a plane out to. There was a Freddie Laker. They had really cheap flights back in the day. This is 1978, and we ran out of money. But that's not what bothered me. One of my friends was starting to steal. Like everywhere he went, he was robbing people and robbing places.
Oh, no.
So I said, I don't want to be traveling Europe with next to no money with somebody who's stealing. So I just left those guys. So I was by myself, and to save money, I was hitchhiking. And then my friend got arrested, I found out later on. He spent half of his trip in jail in Sweden. I don't want to tell you his name.
Oh my God.
He spent half the trip in jail. I say, I dodged a bullet on that one. And so here's a really interesting story. So I got to Rome, and lo and behold, the Pope died when I got to Rome. Yeah. So, but they were going to coronate a new Pope. I said, wow, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, right? So I to save money, I slept in the park behind the Colosseum for days after days. It was like a week waiting for the new Pope to be coronated. It was Pope John Paul I, not the second, first. Remember, he's the guy who only lived a couple of weeks. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So I saw the coronation of the Pope. I said, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. You know, when the smoke comes up when they elect the new Pope and all that stuff. Yeah. So I was in St. Peter's Square. So I had to kill time. You know, I didn't have enough money. And so that's how that story ended. And so then I had to hitchhike all the way back. And then my friend wasn't there because he was in jail, and we were supposed to take the same plane together. It went downhill from there.
Okay.
You are adventurous dude, Lou. You're adventurous
I mean,
dude.
really?
But lucky I didn't spend any time in jail on that trip. Okay, that's right. This is being recorded. We have to edit this part.
That
Thanks,
must be
Lou.
the dude we're looking for.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, oh my gosh, I'm wearing way over. Okay, so Ron, you got that one. Next one. What are the boats in which
Gondolas.
Gondolas.
Right,
Can
who
we
was
let
that?
Lou
Who
read
said
the
that?
question first, please? Can we let Lou read the question first, please? Thank you. Go ahead, Lou.
What are the boats in which people travel on canals in Venice, Italy called?
Gondola.
Right, very good, very good.
I knew it was Brenda that was first. Would you like a
As usual.
necklace
As
or a
usual.
necklace or bracelet, Brenda?
Necklace.
All right, thanks so much.
Okay,
Good
next
job.
one. Okay, next one. What three colors are on the Italian flag?
Oh, let's see. Red,
Red,
white,
white.
blue,
Red and
and
white.
blue.
Red,
Oh.
white, blue. No, red, white, green.
Somebody said it. Someone said it.
Green, white, and red.
I couldn't tell, Lou. It's up to you.
It was. I have no idea. Like someone on the call's got to tell us.
I said it, but someone else said it too, I think.
I
It
did
was
red, white, and green. Sound like Gary.
Whoever
I
that
think,
person is.
I think it was a
that's good.
female. I think it was a
was
female.
me.
Cassandra, I think
No,
that-
I said
It was Cassandra.
It was Cassandra.
Okay.
Great.
Cassandra, necklace or bracelet?
Bracelet.
Necklace, please.
All
Thank
right.
you. Good job.
Oh, here's a good one. What Italian volcano erupted in AD 79, burying
Mount
Pompeii?
Vesuvius.
79.
Vesuvius.
Ryan, I think you're a two-time winner here. But
Well, I have a bracelet.
what's our rules, Alex, when someone wins twice and the same?
They give it to somebody else. So Ronald, would you like to choose someone to receive a prize?
I'll give it to Harold.
Well, thank you, sir.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Ronald. That was sweet. Mr. Harrow, would you like a necklace or a bracelet?
Necklace is cool.
Thank you. Is that the last question, Lou?
No. Oh yeah. One more. No, that is it. All right, folks. Well, hey, great call. Thanks for everything. Thanks. Feel free to correct knowledge because I don't know. There's a lot I don't know. So always jump in.
Oh, let's all thank Lou for hosting today's
Thank you, Lou,
lunch.
so
That
much.
was so interesting.
Thank you, Lou.
Thank you, Lou.
Thank you. It was very
Thank
interesting.
you, Lou. It was
Thank you,
very
Lou.
interesting.
Thank you, Lou. You made us
Thank
think
you,
about
Lou.
it.
Have a great rest of your day and holiday weekend as well. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Thank